First of all, there was an article that said the spiritual reason you're still struggling to lose weight. And this one's a pretty funny one because girls basically invented a way to make it everything other.
Of course.
What are you trying to hide from? You could be storing weight anywhere. There are differing factors depending on where the weight is being stored. From an energetic perspective, it's about putting on an extra shield that signifies you're trying to hide something. So it's protective layers.
I mean, literally, women store fat differently than men.
Well, it's possible that she has extra back fat to protect from backstabbing bitches. It's usually like due to hormones too. I wonder what the arm fat's trying to protect you from.
Waving goodbye to people? I don't know.
What are you trying to control or resisting letting control you? For a lot of my clients, the trauma they go through comes from their ancestry, and they're still carrying those frequencies, which is why it gets deposited in the abdominal area.
I mean, literally, women keep their weight in their abdomen and hips and ass.
Yeah, but they're saying it's because of ancestral trauma.
Sure.
But it's funny being like, the reason I'm putting on weight is because my great grandfather went through it, dude. So
I'd like to see her results. Like, that's the thing. You go, okay, let's presume that what you're saying is not bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, do you have like all these success stories?
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, do you have all these women who are like, yeah, I did this trauma bullshit and I dropped 50 pounds?
No, they do not.
No.
So
If anything, they could probably get heavier.
we found the best Reddit of all time, and this is called Our Gainers.
Yeah.
It's just people who have a fetish for getting fat.
Yeah.
There isn't some body positive component to it.
It's crazy because they talk about this the same way that like, if you go to like Our Bodybuilding,
Yes.
like they literally talk about it like the same way.
Isn't it nuts?
Yeah, and like some of them are like, yeah, they're like, yeah, like sometimes you'll see like in any like weightlifting forum where they'll be like, yeah, I can't put on weight.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
hard.
So there's gainers. There's some people that are sexually attracted to the idea of physically growing bigger, fatter around her. Gainers come in all shapes and sizes, and they have fantasies, goals, ideals. And then maintainers are people who are retired from gaining. Common reasons include health concerns, reaching goals, or losing interest.
Reaching goals, that's so crazy.
The goals is why it's
The goals
so
is so funny. You're like, yeah, I want to be 500 pounds.
Maintainers do not need to maintain their weight. Some can lose a bit of weight due to the earlier reasons. Maintainers are those who still are a gainer in the heart, but have completed their goals.
I love that they're like, yeah, I'm on like a maintenance phase right now. Yeah, I was on a surplus and now I'm on a maintenance.
And then there's admirers. Any fetish has those who do not dabble into the fetish themselves, but they admire from a distance. Admirers can express gratitude from simple compliments to worshiping.
Worshipping, sure. I mean, that's the problem. If you tell women you're like, yeah, I gained 500 pounds, you're going to be worshipped. No guy's getting worshipped.
Well, no guys.
Yeah, no guy's fucking hitting 500.
I think some of the guys here are worshipped by other guys and are like, nice work, bro.
Sure, I guess, but it's such a weird, like guys generally like when you're getting jacked, not just getting fat.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's...
Experience of being a 600-pound person. My goal is to weigh 600 pounds. I really want to do it. Every day I fantasize and aim to weigh more than 600 pounds. I would like to know the experience and people of people who are at such extremely high weights. I would like to know how they got there, tips for gaining weight, what it feels like to weigh that weight, etc.
I mean,
so
it's
this is
literally
I just want
horrible.
to... Yeah, this is like the gist of it. That was sort of just like I want to show what the kind of stuff. You basically come in here and you're just like, listen, I like what you guys are doing. I'm looking to double it. What are the tips?
Dude, I mean, drink olive oil. Just like literally.
That was some of the tips was liquid. They like the liquids.
Well, liquids, the only way you can really is like lots of soda, like spoonfuls of olive oil as much as you can tolerate them, I guess. I mean, dude, like the guy who was the announcer for the sumo thing was like his big claim to fame was he was at 1,600 pounds, right? That was the guy.
Really?
Yeah, that was his claim to fame because he was like, he used to be like a top sumo guy. That guy actually was a top sumo guy, the guy who was the announcer. And his whole deal was he was at 630 pounds. But now, and he said, he's like, I had the surgery and I've been losing weight or whatever. But like as he was talking, you could hear him labor breathing. Like he was just and I just want to welcome everybody for the sumo.
Yeah.
And he was like struggling just to stand and talk.
Well, basically, these are like the guys like they're trying to gain as much weight to be sumo people, but for nothing.
Yeah, there's for nothing. Yeah. There's not like, again, there are like actual Like if you're trying to be like, I'm trying to be an offensive lineman, how do I put on? I need to put on 100 pounds. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you go, yeah, you do. Here's like the strategies you can eat, all this, whatever.
Been stuck in a gaining rut for 2+ years. Don't know what to do anymore.
That's amazing. You go, I literally cannot gain weight. I've been just
I've been stuck at the 260, 270 pound range for 2.5 years, and I just want to break out of it. But it feels like no matter what I do, I can't get any results. More food, etc. It's super disheartening. I feel like I'm trying my hardest with no results to see others fatten up with ease, especially after 2+
This
years.
is literally the opposite of a weight loss thing. Like people would say the exact same thing trying to lose weight, and they go, "I'm like doing everything. I'm like fucking doing my macros, cutting calories, and it's just stuck."
It really has like a grind set mentality here.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, I need, I'm trying to get into this.
You're like, I had a nutritionist like make me out a whole plan, or like a anti-nutritionist or something.
Well, he's weighing himself every morning and like punching the wall because he can't put on weight.
Hey, it's tough. I mean, at some point your body is like adjusts. Like your body's like, okay, well, if we're just doing this crazy thing, you're like, your body's like, okay, well, we're going to burn more calories.
Well, because you have to, I guess as soon, if you get up to like the 300 pound range, it's like, well, now your body burns probably like 35, 4 a day.
I mean, yeah, your body is just like requires more energy to sustain.
So if you want to keep growing, you have to keep eating more than you were eating before.
yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Or else you're going to maintain.
I mean, if you ever watch those like shows, they're like, yeah, they eat like 8,000 calories a day and some shit.
Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, I need
Expensive too.
So you are saying right about the motivation part, because this guy goes, I need motivation to get obese and very fat. I need motivate. He weighs 130 pounds right now, 5'5". Currently, I'm still at the very beginning of my journey, but I really love all of this. I love eating a lot of food, especially junk foods. I fantasize about being really obese. I would love to receive some motivation from people who are obese and fat, and how they feel more motivated.
I mean, they're probably the least motivated people on earth, but
Yeah, he's
like
basically...
if that's how you find your motivation in life, you go, yeah, the only motivation I have is to get fatter. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of got the, like, I want to start a business vibe.
Kind of, yeah. It's like, this is like personal improvement. Like they're talking about this, like this is like a self-improvement.
Yeah, that's why the thing is so great. And then every now and then there's like some fucking like women and perverts.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of dudes being like, yo, I would love to be fat. So this is, that was a male. So the other one, how is everyone affording to gain in this economy?
Tough, man. That's like the number one thing when you're like the bodybuilders and they're like, dude, like people don't get it. Like those guys are like, you don't understand how taxing it is to just
financially.
Not even financially, but just like it's hard to eat that much food.
It's gross too.
I had a friend of mine who wanted to do like, he was like, well, I remember like maybe 5 years, he was like, I want to do a bodybuilding. He's like, I want to get into bodybuilding. And he hired a coach and he literally quit after like 2 weeks because he's like, dude,
I can't eat that
He's
much.
like, it's insane. He's like, I have to eat a large pizza like in between like my fourth meal and my sixth dinner or whatever.
Ugh.
He's like, you just have to put back a large pizza. And he's just like, I mean, dude, it, like you feel like shit, like your body having to process that.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, your body is just like, this sucks. Constantly fucking on the toilet and like it's rough.
So that's part of being. I guess I didn't realize how I was kind of always thinking it was crappy, but yeah, you're right. Like, have you ever gone to like Mandarin buffet and just left and been like feeling terrible? They have to do that all the time,
All day.
and then you have to go work out for 4 hours on top of that.
Yeah, and these guys are working out, but like, yeah, those guys are trying to actually get jacked and stuff. But
Well, this guy's saying he can't go get enough food. Like, I want to gain so badly, but I lost 20 pounds.
you lost weight, you fucking loser.
The fucking crappy
What a
loser. Dude.
Tried to gain weight. Like maybe the only guy in the history of the world who's trying to gain weight and lost somehow.
It's so expensive to do stuffing and shake and to maintain the consistency to actually gain. Like, does anyone have any tips or tricks? Is there something that I'm missing? So the inflation's really fucking these guys over.
You can get mass, like go to GNC and get some mass gainers or something. But yeah, you got to just be drinking these sipping on this all day.
Also, that is like peak America, where there's guys on the internet complaining they can't afford to get more too obese. I don't have the luxury of getting obese.
I mean, it's expensive, man.
In this economy, how are you so fat in this? That does read an okay question though. When you see these real fatties, like how are they so fat? I guess they all have feeders. I think a lot of people have sponsors. Oh yeah, they have sponsors.
Yeah,
that was one of the
well,
things,
there's I see it all the time on like now on Instagram and TikTok. They'll just be like these. It's only girls, and they'll be like a realistic day in my life of eating or whatever.
And they all just get everything bought.
And no, they don't get everything bought for them. They like, but a lot of the comments will just be like, "How do you afford this?" You're like, you eat out 8 times a day, like every meal. You don't. They're like, I've never seen you cook a meal.
Yeah.
Which is the thing. Cooking the meal is actually the hack because you just put so much oil and butter in it that's how you can actually kind of.
Are you 300 plus and under 25? I'm so proud of people who are already at 300 pounds and under 25. That's a major accomplishment. I wish my body would gain like that. Like to be so fat and so young is a major accomplishment. You should be proud of yourself. There's no such thing as too fat, and you are a manifestation of this statement. Here are all the 300 pluses under 25.
But these people just wish they were Polynesian, all of them.
What would you do if you found out your girl joined this thread? You find out she's been joining, fantasizing about being fat.
Go into the bulimia thread. I'd rather that.
I've agreed to do 50,000 calorie 3-day stuffing.
That is so hard, man. That's like Joey Chestnut shit. You know how hard it is to eat 17,000 calories a day?
This is a fat girl. I've agreed to do this. Sponsored. Someone sponsored them to do it. So they sponsor their food like they're sponsoring for poker. 50,000 calorie 3-day stuffing for a feeder. The conditions are it's on a budget. It can't be takeout.
It can't be takeout.
Well, I think the guy doesn't want to see them just like ordering all these like Wendy's meals because that is going to get a little pricey for him.
Right.
From my end, there's going to have to be a lot of liquid calories. I think so. That's apparently the big hack is you do a lot of liquid calories. It's going to be hella tough, but I could make it. Any advice, strategies? Sponsoring is really doing it for me. How funny that is.
Yeah. I don't know how you would 800 calories in a 2-liter Coke. So you're like, who's like the fattest person, the 600-pound life?
That doesn't seem like a better deal.
You maybe drink 3 of those a day. That's still 6 liters. So you're like, okay, that just knocked off 2,400 calories. You're like, you still have 15,000 to go from food.
That's fucking.
I know Mac or whatever from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I remember he got fat, and his thing was he'd leave a pint of ice cream out on the counter and let it melt so that he could just drink a pint of ice cream. But again, how many of those can you do in a day? Like that's so hard. Like you basically can't really eat protein because that'll just make you too full. So you're like, you just have to be eating just like pure carbs and fat all day long.
It's not a fantasy. It's a need. I weighed myself today and I'm already just shy of 360. I last checked. I was sitting pretty at 340. It feels like it was just last week. I blinked and 20 pounds fell off me. What a shame.
It's hard to maintain a high weight like that. That's the crazy thing is when you realize people talking like this and then you see people that size, you go, it's like not easy to maintain these high weights.
Right. You're like, that's such a good point. Because you see people and you're like, that sucks to be fat. You're like, no, this is like hard work to be that fat.
Yeah, like you see most offensive linemen, if you see them like 3 years after they retire, they're down 100 pounds.
Yeah, you really have to be like a food addict.
Yeah, like you just have to be stuffing your, like waking up early, like literally waking up in the middle of the night.
That's even funnier when it was like the body positive ones that are like 600 pounds and talking. You're telling people like there's nothing wrong with being, you're like, but actually you're just like, no, you know that you're going home and eating like an amount that's ungodly.
Yeah, constantly. Constantly. That was another thing with the bodybuilding thing. He was like, he's like, I had to set an alarm for 3 a.m. to wake up to drink a 500 calorie shake.
Oh.
Because you're like, it's just like, it's so hard to get the food in.